news for Canberra. 114 Sri Lankan Tamils arrested in Malaysia. They were waiting for a boat to take them to Australia, but their journey's been cut short. As Dateline discovered during midnight raids and a rare visit inside a detention centre, Malaysia could never be accused of being soft on illegal immigration.
Hello.
So with the Australian government determined to stop asylum seekers from leaving Malaysia, should it take any responsibility for what happens to them afterwards?
It's a place which it simply does not provide any viable protection to refugees, and in fact, in many respects, provides a further place of danger for them.
Well, I've had no evidence of mistreatment in recent times raised with me. Certainly we encourage our neighbours to treat people fairly.
Has Australia ever raised the question of human rights and the treatment of refugees here?
Can you cut that?
If you're an asylum seeker in Malaysia hoping to reach Australia, your journey might start here, the ferry to Pulau Ketam or Crab Island. From these mangrove swamps and stilt villages, it's not far to Indonesian Sumatra, just across the Malacca Strait.
这边过去永远了，因为我们这边出来就是直接走西就到印尼了嘛。差不多这样驾船过去，要是他们的船比较大马力点啊，差不多是4个钟头半就到了嘛。
There are no immigration controls here or at the port on the mainland. Most of the illegal traffic across the strait is made up of Indonesian workers, but locals recall seeing Iraqis and people smugglers here earlier this year.
他们有联络性，他们联络好了。这里有舌头的，哪里可以找到这船呢？在这边等他们来了，他在那个，我们知道他是要跑去澳大利亚的，有时有妇女，有小孩，啊，他们包那个看到眼睛有那个妇女包到穿黑色的。
In June, 42 Afghan and Pakistani migrants on board 2 boats were arrested by the Marine Police. But I hear rumours, later confirmed by the Australian government, that the people smugglers are assisted by some officials.
给他我们去当岛，政府一定花小费，一点花费就没有抓的嘛，一样的嘛，你也知道。好了，我讲太多，我们就这样就好。
Australia's worried that Malaysia is a weak link in its border protection chain.
Well, basically a second pipeline opened up largely as a result of the Tamils fleeing Sri Lanka. And basically we have a couple of people smuggling syndicates who have found the pressure in Indonesia a bit tough and have looked for an alternative route, if you like, and they have had this operation running out of Malaysia.
There's a constant flow of asylum seekers into Malaysia. And each weekday morning they can be found lining up outside the United Nations High Commission for Refugees. There are 49,000 refugees registered with the UNHCR here, and possibly another 45,000 who aren't on the books. %90 have fled from Myanmar or Burma. Of the rest, most are from Afghanistan, Iraq, and increasingly Sri Lanka. Few have any chance of getting resettled. This young couple are Tamils who've recently arrived from Sri Lanka. they have yet to discover how little protection the UNHCR can actually provide.
Once you get your card, there is a phone number at the back which starts from 012. Okay, it's at the back of your card, alright?
These refugees from Myanmar are here to collect the cards that prove their claims have been recognised by the UNHCR. But their new status as refugees isn't recognised under Malaysian law.
012 is a detention hotline. It's open from 8 a.m. in the morning up to 11 p.m. at night, 7 days a week. And this is the number that you call if you have any problems with the authorities. Number 3 and number 4.
The Malaysian government considers all these refugees to be illegal immigrants. So what's in store here for the people that Australia is trying to keep out? A few crowded rooms are a sanctuary of sorts for these Tamil families from Sri Lanka. They've been in Malaysia for 18 months and all have terrifying stories of the threats and violence they escaped. But the families are vulnerable here too. As illegal immigrants, they're not allowed to work and the children can't go to school. They also live in constant fear of being arrested. So they don't risk leaving home unless it's absolutely necessary. For more than a year now, they've lived in a state of self-imposed house arrest.
Many refugees I've met describe being harassed by the police, forced to pay bribes, sometimes threatened with having their UNHCR cards confiscated. Have you heard these allegations? Are these allegations being investigated?
There's no report made. If there is a report made, of course our official will do investigation of the matter.
But the UNHCR says it has raised these complaints with you. So have many other human rights groups.
But as far as we are concerned, we have not received any complaint.
Even more than the police, this is whom refugees in Malaysia truly fear. Rela is a militia made up of 500,000 volunteers. After just 2 days' training, the government uses them to crack down on illegal immigrants. It's after midnight, and they're preparing to launch a surprise raid on an immigrant neighbourhood. As I film, the volunteers are told to be on their best behaviour.
Tangkap pemberita ramai malam ni dah, semua nak masuk Sok Khabar malam ni. Kan? Semua nak tengok muka kat Sok Khabar, masuk TV malam ni. Jadi saya minta Ketua Platoon KPM tentukan anggota-anggota tidak ada yang melakukan kekasaran. Jangan pergi pukul ke, tendang ke, bawa dia dengan elok. Bawa macam bawa girlfriend tu.
Rella has been condemned in the past for human rights abuses, but was happy for me to tag along. Malaysia has more than 1 million illegal immigrants and believes tough measures are necessary.
Why are they such a problem, the illegal immigrants?
My social life, make noisy, drink. That's why the local people report to us. Social criminal.
But it's just the illegal immigrants that drink and make noise? Don't the legal ones do the
same? Both sides.
So what, all the immigrants are a problem, but you just target the illegal ones?
Yes, the illegal ones.
The volunteers spread out and start going from door to door looking for migrants. Their job is to take anyone who's not Malaysian outside to have their documents checked. At this stage, it doesn't matter if they're here legally or not. No one likes being woken up in the middle of the night. Within an hour, several hundred people have been dragged out of bed.
Jalan betul-betul. Jangan ni mati jalan. Jalan betul-betul. Jangan ni. Betul-betul.
Barisan, mana barisan? Bukan mau.
Out on the street, their documents are taken and examined by officers from the immigration department. They decide who should be arrested and who gets to go back to bed.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Although refugees are also illegal immigrants, the government insists they are not arrested or detained.
Have you found anyone here who has a UNHCR card?
No, we obviously we release them.
You release the people with the UNHCR
Yes.
The UNHCR says fewer refugees are being picked up these days, but that it's still common. Most I spoke to said they had a friend or relative who'd been arrested. When the prisoners are taken back to Rella headquarters, I discover that tonight is no exception.
Where are you from?
I'm from Myanmar.
Contrary to what I was told, 6 of the men here have been arrested despite being registered as refugees.
You have a UNHCR card?
Yeah, sure. I until already 5 years.
And you've given them the card?
Yes, sure. My name is Abdurrahim. Number card 03C13837. Just so many problems coming here, and I tell you so many price. This people is very no good. Tell me like animals. I know, understand. Fine, I don't know.
Abdurrahim has tried to call the UNHCR detention hotline, but it's the middle of the night and it's closed.
So what will happen if you can't get hold of them at the office?
I don't know about this. I know now. I know good feeling.
Oh, where's the document?
Okay already.
Okay.
There's in front of.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Sir, just tell me what happens if your men do find someone with a UNHCR card. What is the procedure?
So the immigration asks us to detain them. Then we have to bring them to the immigration depot. We're going to bring them to depot, Lengging.
The detention centre?
Yes.
This is where Abdurrahim and all the others will be taken. the Lengeng immigration depot outside Kuala Lumpur. This is the first time Malaysia has allowed a foreign journalist to film inside one of its detention centres. The men's section is meant to house up to 1,200 people, but right now more than 1,400 are squeezed inside.
As you can see now, actually they are not comfortable inside here. Not really comfortable. And they are very stressed out when they kept about more than a month. They are fight amongst them.
The food is very determined. If the dog see the food the dog cannot eat. A dog see this food, they cannot eat it.
Have you seen the tray we eat? We go see, you know.
See this? You see this? You see this? You see this?
Each prisoner gets some rice and a couple of pieces of meat and vegetable. The stench is awful.
Hi.
Hey, you want to
take out this one?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I've asked if there are any prisoners here from Sri Lanka. This is Shanmulingam. He's a Tamil and says he fled Sri Lanka last year because the army wanted to arrest him.
Have you gone to the UNHCR at all? Have you claimed asylum?
He says he's been here for 6 weeks and he's waiting for the UNHCR to organise his release. And this is Prabhakaran. He's been here for a month and is also registered as a refugee. He's nervous about speaking in front of the immigration officers.
How have you found life in Malaysia as a refugee?
என்ன பயந்து தான் வாழணும் ஊர்லயும் பயந்து தான் வாழ்றோம் இங்க வந்து பயந்து தான் வாழணும் எப்போ பிடிக்குது என்ன நடக்குது ஒன்றுமே தெரியல வந்து இப்போ 1 மாசம் ஒரு முடியுமே இல்லை அப்படியே இருக்கோம்.
When I visited the immigration detention centre, I found several refugees there who had UNHCR cards.
I don't think so.
I did, and the UNHCR confirms this. And in fact, the immigration officials also confirmed this.
That's what the information I've been given by my personnel.
That there are no refugees being held in the detention centres. That's what you've been told.
Yes.
According to the UNHCR, the situation has improved in the last few months. It now has access to the detention centres, but it says red tape means refugees, who shouldn't be arrested in the first place, still spend too long in detention.
Does it concern you if registered refugees in Malaysia are being detained and locked up?
Well, it's not for me to comment on a sovereign nation's local legal system. We detain people who come to this country unlawfully as well, while we identify them and do security checks. So it's not uncommon for countries to detain people who've come in unlawfully.
Many refugees I met said it's conditions like these that drive people to try and reach Australia.
நாங்களும் படிக்கிடுவோம் இங்கேருந்து கஷ்டப்பட மாட்டோம் நாங்களும் ஏதோ பார்த்து படிக்கிறதான் வேணும் கடலுக்கால நாங்கள் தப்பியாவது அங்கால போய் நாங்கள் நிம்மதியாக உழைச்சி சாப்பிடணும் ரெண்டு தான் நாங்கள் இப்போ ஆஸ்திரேலியா சனம் போகிறோன்னு தான் நாங்களும் படிக்கிறோம் எல்லாரும் படிக்கிடுவோம்ன்ற முடிவும் இருக்கும் கொஞ்சம் காலம் போவேன் இப்படி இருந்தோன்னு செய்யலாது நாங்கள்
இப்படி இருக்கிற விட எங்கேயாவது போய் இருந்த பூமண்டா தான் எல்லாரும் சேர்ந்து படிக்கிறாங்க படகுல போறே இல்லை சார் பிரச்சனை தாங்க போய் நல்லா இருக்கணும் எங்களோட பிள்ளை குட்டியும் நல்லா சந்தோஷமா வச்சிருக்கோம் எங்களுக்கு எவ்வளவு ஆசைகள் இருக்கும்.
the Australian and Malaysian governments want to make sure this never happens. A few weeks ago, they got lucky. 114 Sri Lankans were arrested at these serviced apartments in Johor Bahru. They'd been there for a month, waiting for a passage to Australia. Although 3 men in charge of the group escaped, this counts as a major success.
You would have been pleased about this news?
Well, we're certainly pleased that they're clamping down on unlawful movement through their country, and that obviously has the benefit for us that it may deter people from getting on leaky boats seeking to come to Australia.
The day after the arrests, I visited the apartments. This is one of the 17 rooms the migrants were squeezed into, 6 or 7 people to a room. One of the staff showed a local journalist and I a list of almost half the group.
These are 44 names lah.
Next to their names, we found UNHCR registration numbers. 44 refugees who weren't prepared to wait.
Because they pay so much to the middleman. I don't know who.
Chances are that if the people arrested here last month had reached Australia, they'd have been granted protection visas. Instead, they were locked up and remain as vulnerable as ever.
Cracking down on people smuggling in and of itself is not a problem. The real question is, what is the consequence of doing that? It is one thing to intercept someone in another country and to assist another country or cooperate with another country like Malaysia to do that. But what happens to that person? That's the question that hangs heavily. What then happens to that person?
I don't accept the criticism, if you like, that somehow we've got to insist on human rights standards in other countries. I mean, we encourage people to sign up to the Refugee Convention. We encourage them to treat people properly, but equally I don't think we can be held responsible for every country's domestic policies.
சில நேரம் தற்கொலை செய்யலாமான்ற ஒரு ஃபீலிங்கும் வருது. அதுக்கு தற்கொலை செய்யறதுக்கு புள்ளியல் இருக்குது. புள்ளியல் இருக்கிறபடியா இப்படி நாங்கள் புள்ளியலுக்காக உயிர் வாழணுமே நாங்கன்ற ஒரு கோட்பாட்டில் தான் நாங்கள் இப்போ வாழ்ந்து கொண்டிருக்கோம்.
பிள்ளைங்களாவது எங்கேயாவது உயிரோடு இருக்கணும், நல்லா இருக்கணும் தான் இங்கே வந்தது. கப்பலில் படிக்கிட்டு வந்த போகிறது அது நிரந்தரம் இல்லாத வாழ்க்கை. ஏதாவது ஒரு நாடுங்களை ஏற்றுக்கொள்ள இருந்தால் சந்தோஷமா போகணும்.